If there's one bike manufacturer you could never accuse of following fashion, it's this lot, BMW. And just to prove the fact that they like to be different, they've introduced this, their new F650CS, or the Cava. Cava is short for Street Cava because it's designed to have the ability to cut through busy town traffic with ease. More than that though, it's designed to attract new riders. It's powerful enough to cope with everyday situations, but it's not too powerful that it would frighten the novice. It's certainly very comfortable and the wide bars give a nice relaxed riding position. The styling is different, which means it's guaranteed to attract interest wherever it goes. So let's have a closer look at the interesting bits then, and for me, all this bit here, this is the interesting and very, very different bit of this bike. Because all this is plastic, well, nothing unusual there, you say, yeah, we've seen that before, lots of bikes have plastic petrol tanks these days. Yes, they do, except that this is not a petrol tank, because where the petrol tank normally would live is a big hole, which at the moment is being filled by this sort of soft bag here, which you get when you buy the bike. But there are a number of options, and some quite smart options available for that, and I'll show you them in a little while. Also on here we've got these grab rails. That's what they are grab rails, which also serve to retain this bag, as I say. But the grab rails, now they're quite good actually, or they could be quite good if they were used a lot, because you'll know if you ride a sports bike with a pillion on the back, when you brake hard, sometimes if the pillion's not hanging on tight enough, they tend to ride up your back, they sort of slide and almost come over the top. Well, on this the pillion can lean round you, which is very nice, depending on who your pillion is, and they can brace themselves on these, so it stops them riding over the top of you and riding up your back. Down here, these side panels, lots of people like these. I've heard some people say, oh yeah, that looks quite classy, doesn't it, with these little vents in the side here and the nice big logo there. Well, I personally think that they look like a leftover from a BMW Z3 car, so I'm not particularly in love with them. Down here, of course, the motor, 650cc 4-stroke single cylinder motor, about 50 brake horsepower, nothing outstanding there, and we've seen that before. It's the same engine as they use in their F650GS, which is a similar sort of bike to this, similar sort of size, only it's a lot taller, and really that's the sort of baby version of their 1150 GS, their big sort of giant trailer. Confused? Yes, well you will be in a minute, because these sort of styling things are carried through here onto these side panels, which is very sort of subtle, quite nice. Behind this side panel and under this seat is the petrol tank, because look here, there's the petrol filler cap, so you fill it up just like a car in the side there, and the petrol tank is actually under the seat. In fact, I can show you that. I'll flick the seat off here and you can have a look. There's all the gubbins for the petrol tank under there, the fuel pump, etc, etc, which means that there's no room under the seat. You've just got a little tool roll there, so you don't actually get any room to put anything under the seat, but you've got a big hole up there, remember, so that's not a problem. One thing I do like about this, I have to say, is this single-sided swing arm. And while we're down here, look, belt drive. Final drive is a belt drive, which is great because they reckon that this belt won't need replacing for 30,000 miles. And I think, if you think about it, not many bikes actually do more than 30,000 miles in their lifetime. They fall to bits before that, or they blow up, or they crash, or whatever. So that's probably there forevermore, as long as this bike's on the road. And this is the great thing about them. Look at that. I can do that. No mucky oil, no muck to get your hands dirty, no spraying your chain with lubricant, no adjusting it, nothing. There it is. Nice belt drive. My very first thoughts when I climbed aboard the Cava were that it had no power. It felt flat, but the more I ride it, the more I realise that it's just about spot on for the market it's aimed at. It handles superbly. The 5-speed gearbox is very positive, the steering is fairly sharp and responsive, and manoeuvrability in busy traffic is a piece of cake. In fact, it's got all the things a newcomer to bikes should be looking for, which includes an insurance scheme whereby over 26-year-olds can have fully comp insurance for £200 and 21 to 25-year-olds can have it for £400. Now, if that doesn't sell this bike, then I don't know what will. Styling and colour schemes aside, this is a cracking little machine. Now then, it's time for some clever stuff, some very clever stuff I think, and some important stuff as well, the price. Now, the basic bike will cost you £5,400, and this is what you get. You get exactly what you see here. But that's only the start. You can go mad, because here's that soft little pouch that I showed you before, which comes off, and that's a rucksack, so you can carry your things around with you in a rucksack. If you want to go a little bit more upmarket, you can fill this hole up here with a hard case. And here's the hard case there. That clips in there like that. I won't bother clipping it in properly, but it does clip in there. And that opens up there, and you can put your bits and pieces in there. And then when you leave the bike, you can take it with you, and there is a handle there which comes up like that, and you can carry that around with you if you so wish. That hard box like that will cost you 130 quid. Now then, if you want to go really posh, you can have the executive model like this. It says audio system. It's not quite an audio system, because all it is really is a pair of speakers. In here you have the facility to put your own sound system, your own CD player, a mini disc player, MP3, whatever you want. You can charge up your mobile phone with that as well. The whole thing is powered from the bike. Speakers there, and you've got volume up and down on there. So quite trendy, but you have to supply your own music player, if you like, although they give you the speakers and the controls. That will cost you £290. 290 quid, and yeah, there's more. We've not finished yet. Look at this now. This is an ingenious thing. What on earth is that? Well, I'll show you what that is. Get my helmet here. When you leave the bike, you can put your helmet in there. You can just push these into these little holes down there, which is actually nowhere near as awkward as I'm making it look. But they go in there like that. That clips on, and the whole thing tightens like that, and a kind of ratchet. And you can leave your helmet in there safe and sound when you leave the bike. This looks a bit flimsy. It just looks like rubber. It's not rubber. There is steel in there, so don't worry. You could do that. Leave it. Nobody could come along and cut this. It really is quite safe and secure, and I think that's ingenious. I think that's the way to describe that. There are even more options. Oh, by the way, 65 quid that'll cost you if you fancy that. More options, as I say. You can have a single seat version. Seat finishes there, and there's a rack on the back. You spend a few quid on that. You can have ABS. You don't need ABS. The brakes are perfectly good enough. It's not a big heavy machine. It doesn't take a lot of stopping. But if you want to go mad, put ABS on it. 345 quid. Heated grips, which this one has got, and I'm glad to say today I really did need them, and I felt the benefit from them. 175 quid. And loads of other bits and pieces. There are rumours that they're going to even have their own branded clothing, the 650CS branded clothing, so you can even look like your bike. Ooh, would you want to look like this? I'm not sure. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, as they say. It probably will attract a few people, certainly with the insurance discounts. That will probably bring a few riders in, but I'm not sure that the beauty is in my eye just yet.